of the sleeper powerhouses in the NFC, San Francisco 49ers. You probably couldn't you probably couldn't do anything without reading or seeing something about the Niners probably being a dominant team, a possible dominant team, probably getting back to where they used to be, being one of the powerhouses in the NFC. And there's some good reasons, definitely some, especially now with some of the state and other teams, how you got two teams that are on a decline, and this team looks like they're about to go up, be on the rise. Have a look at it. They traded for Jimmy Garoppolo and even got and gave him a very, very nice deal after basically going 4-0 in the last 4 games of the season. They seem pretty prepared to make him the franchise quarterback for the next 10 years. And in some cases, I can definitely see it. I can definitely see Garoppolo being the star quarterback that the Niners have needed for so long since Steve Young left. But then again, it's a lot to really, kind of hope and expect. Honestly, I don't know what I'm going to give. I don't know how Garoppolo is going to do. Because sure, Final Four game. You look at the Final Four games, you probably pull up highlights to go, "Oh, he's a great quarterback. He's going to be great. He's going to be the next Steve Young or Montana." But here's something: in those Final Four games, I mean, the Niners were kind of playing just to see, how he would do. Are they prepared to give him a ton of money? And when they saw he won the Final Four games, there was some reason for that. Going from a team that would have been probably top 5, and they went ninth in a pick, went from probably going 2-14 to a 6-10 team. There's something about Garoppolo, but I don't know. I'm not 100% sold on Garoppolo being a great quarterback. I think it'll be good, but I don't know about the amount of. I don't know that good to where they paid him $30 million a season. And of course, looking at the running back, no more Carlos Hyde, and now going with Jerick McKinnon. And of course, they're probably going to have a running back, come in for him every now and then. I think it might be freaking Jerry McNichols. They got a couple other guys they want to try out, but it looks like it might be mostly the Jerick McKinnon show. So far, I don't see anyone else that could really step up and help out McKinnon. And of course, looking at wide receivers, they're still pretty much looking for that number one guy that they had, that they want. They want that Jerry Rice, that Terrell Owens, just that stud. And they got Garcon, who was doing pretty well with the rotation of quarterbacks that was going on in San Francisco during 2017. But I think age might start to settle in, and it might make way for the younger receivers. One of them being Dante Pettis, who they drafted in the second round. I think that's one guy they probably want to have be the number one wide receiver. They got a couple other guys, but nothing really noteworthy. I think at some point, maybe next year, they'll probably try and find their Julio Jones, if you know what I mean, or their AJ Green. Because keep in mind, the head coach is Kyle Shanahan. When he had Julio, he felt like he can do a lot with the wide receiver because he didn't just have great size, he also had dangerous speed with him. And with Pettis, he's got the speed, though the size may be a bit questionable. But this could be some. But I can definitely see this team probably going all out next year. Really showing their stuff and seeing how well they can do. Looking at the tight ends, it's probably going to be a rotation between Selleck and Kettle. Nothing special. The offensive line, something that it's definitely getting a slight youth change. From one, they didn't bring back Trent Brown, but they did draft Mike McGlinchey in the first round of this year's draft. Though I don't know if he's gonna play left tackle, considering they still have Joe Staley. So there might be a bit of a competition or some shifts going around where they might put Glinchey at left and put Staley at right, or Glinchey will just play right tackle until Staley leaves. Now he'll move to left tackle. I don't know. It's going to be kind of curious to see what's going on. The guards are most likely going to be Joshua Garrett, who they're hoping pans out well, and Lakin Thompson, who they extended, and the new center is now Weston Richburg. Overall, this is kind of a good offense. It's a team that it's definitely a team you kind of want to see explode. You want to see explode. You want to see explode. All this build up, getting all these certain players, trading up for some, spending all this money. This is definitely a team that they want to see really perform and stand out. And it does have some players. They are missing a couple pieces here or there, but I think they have enough to kind of show that this is a team that can be really scary in the future. Well, not necessarily in the future, but probably within next season after getting one or two certain players. And of course, looking at the defense, I think they moved from playing in a 34 kind of scheme to more of a 4-3 scheme, just based on how their formations are. But then again, they probably just play a lot of 4-2-5. I'm sorry, 2-4-5. Honestly, I think that's what more teams are just doing. They're not going with that traditional scheme of looking at a 34 or 4-3. They're just basically going off a base nickel set and deciding what to do from there based on their personnel. They have, of course, DeForest Buckner and Solomon Thomas, who are both very dangerous pass rushers. They're hoping Armstead develops. They got a couple defensive tackles that they like to try out, but overall, it's a good defensive line. Nothing special, but nothing terrible. I think Buckner really stood out to the Niners and performed very well. And of course, we want to see Solomon Thomas show some major improvement because he had a standard season. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't this outdone season. And looking at the linebackers, of course, with just recent news, Reuben Foster has been suspended for 2 games of the 2018 season, so they'll be without him those first 2 games. And they probably have some linebackers they do want to try. They have Malcolm Smith, who I think you only know who he is because he was named the MVP for the Super Bowl. They got some other players I want to try out. Probably Corey Toomer. Again, I'm just listing names. Maybe Eli Howard. It definitely. I think missing those 2. I think Reuben Foster missing those 2 games is definitely going to hurt the team. It's going to affect them way more than they wanted to. But I think they can survive. And then looking at the secondary, they brought in Richard Sherman. Hopefully he can bounce back from those rusher Achilles. And they got a nice solid corner to pair him up with. Aliko Witherspoon, that was a guy I did like in the draft. I thought he'd be a really good solid outside corner. And he was. There's going to be a slight competition for for the slot corner. They probably got some guys they want to try out. So there's probably not much worry there. Well, safeties, it's probably going to be Jimmy Ward and Jaquezie Terry. Those are guys that they alternated to play the slot corner when they had all their previous safeties. But now I think they're going to be thrown more into the starting lineup, see how they can do. And overall, this is a defense that could be on the. This is just like the offense. This is a team that can be on the rise. They got some stud. They got some players to really put on the pedestal and show, yeah, you're gonna have to worry about these guys. These are the players you're gonna have to worry about. Definitely have some cornerstones will help this team in the long run. Of course, linebacker core could use a little buff, especially with Reuben Foster being out for 2 games, and they could definitely use probably another safety, seeing how the durability of both is kind of iffy. But overall, it's definitely a defense that you can definitely say is on the rise. And of course, looking at the schedule, there's those first 2 games where Foster will be out. They're playing against the Vikings in Minnesota, and then the Lions. Those are probably going to be the roughest 2 games where they're going to be needed, especially against the Vikings, going against Dalvin Cook. Yeah, that will be one rough matchup. And of course, they do have a tough one playing against the Chargers, the Chiefs, the Packers, the Rams twice, and Yeah, and probably after the bye week, it's kind of lighter. It's refreshing for that team. But starting over those first 6 games, those are going to be pretty tough, especially with the first two without Reuben Foster. Man, this could be rough for this team. Hmm. This could be yeah. This could be a rough team. I haven't gone probably 11-5. This could be 11-5 team at best if things go right. But I think this might be a 9-17. This will definitely improve from last year, judging by some of this team, but judging by all the talent they brought in. But it's not going to be this one-sided dominant team. It has some problems. It has some weaknesses, but this team is definitely much improved from last season. They have some cornerstone pieces, some players that they can really look up forward to and go, yes, this is what we'll build on. This is what we'll work with. Though the schedule might be a little tough. I think in a division, probably the closest one I'll give them competition is the Rams. But of course, they got to face the Vikings. And then, getting Reuben Foster back to face their two AFC opponents, the Chiefs and Chargers, which are both on the road, does help them a little bit. But they are tough opponents. They're going to have some struggles. And it's going to be interesting to see this team unfold as it goes. And I think this team is a possible playoff team. Like I said, it's probably at worst 9-7, probably at best 11-5. It's a team that maybe they'll probably usurp the Rams as division winners and probably have their first title since 2012? Yeah, 2012. And that is it.